Yeah, I just looked it up like 10 minutes ago, so.
So all good?
Yeah, we're good.
Advance towards the church because MBA is dominant by time doesn't fit certain capacity meet the demands of protective combat. Jones 24 down, CMB is growing, despite how much health is developing systems designed to emerging. GPW, the USD, MBA is failing to. Russian attributes still less capacity, given ability allows military to destroy tons of wood to for war being improved. Acquisition and ammunition, hypersonic TCS, and emerging technical need to become large in the world, turning out aircraft ASC overseas. These level hundreds of subsidiaries overseas to be built on opposed to threats of the US missile strike, the homeland bases threat to. New SCS China preparing for attack war with the USD, lax research capacity and product, conduct the acquisition system, very suited for the peace threat, wartime ability to spice the problems that SK China contact active defense movements needed. The threat of the acquisition scares off software developers away from contracting that breaks development cycles and cops innovation, as Hiroshi 22. GP limited restaurants facing the modern warfare scare where the talent investment in the company's limited threats and perform to the erase force of the government. President was another revenue take off without paying the original payment to competition investment, but providers opt out of the competition now without will give a path to production development inspected the requires overseas cycle of pay recoup significant time and money profit margin high super competition investment required competition to give away the rights to create cycle then social innovation to a halt out the attack decline the capacity cause war with China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and terrorists. Jones 23. See other determinants of war, China, Russia, Iran, no code to terrorists, and the ability to build credibility, incredible terms by now, 25 countries strong. Basic code for this future will be different from the past US early warning downtown warfare flops, when the war vehicles hyperclass, specifically Taiwanese turns on the Greek, yes, stops invasion, and shores up allied assurances. Robinson 24. America's strike code TCP to bleed issues strike code the US is threatening the US fails to ensure that the money credibility, with Japan, Soko, and others, the US would defend if they fail. The aggressive and adverse with the US would disturb priority validation of the IB invasion goes nuclear, multiple avenues to first use. That's Waker 24. If China invasion will be competent news presented directly dominated the diplomacy back in America, speed headlines, war, nothing that got cold hard to power the West, and kind of mission between Beijing and transfer Jewish news is often a combination of to deal with Japan, and issue unpredictable nature of war, nuclear junior like loosened up, assurance collapse, causes East Asian Poland, Bradley 24. Assurance planning to the capability and credibility of the US to defend the allies and willing to lead, security of transport like the pathways news to use to begin the conventional conflict, the hiding acts, and allies determine the security needs to long ground pressure to develop nuclear weapons, which become the issue. Korea consider building weapons to the point that public support acquiring nuclear weapons, Japan and Australia. These nations are capable of developing weapons as political changes serve the economy for Poland that causes miscalculated and intentional nuclear war. Symbolic 23. Asians for the argument attack the recent indicators of mistake hostile powers fierce using a Sal's combination of nuclear cyber escalation and these nuclear wars at the east of the tension not protocol are starting to fall in the Middle East and high probability that the use of its help many states are going to work because they have assessments for nukes. In examples it took the latest first track of the advent fear of the war second for escalation out of conventional war and extrajudicial malfunction. Use offensive rules in the world system is anarchic with no higher authority. The power of zero sum is verified by studies. Yoder 20. External results in cooperation with a little bit of prediction magnitude is very important for largely security government often able to describe decisions and work hold priorities in favor of cooperation despite best conditions. Solar characteristics is highly significant for trying to ask me to predict is true of China. The stress question 1. Internal anarchy, no higher authority, great power policy, no coming increases in relative boosting expressing the power might be regional domain context that would be China with yes failed to consequences of hostility, China Rome the project power of the planet, SCS build up flag planning, territorial disputes, and more. That's 1824. Often was based in China, the SCS, they build a military capacity, island building, create patrols of planning and fighting the rest of the purpose of Chinese hegemony is Germany, so they part of the often builds power production, the China involved in military disputes, parasol, Israeli attacks, carbon shoulder, like which increase the influence of China's independently small tech firms are key to space readiness, which would be favorable to primacy, causing global war, 3. Space tech and military enabled to attack the US will be vulnerable with China, Russia, and the point to explain both developed ground in the 60 days and the development of the grid of the US ability to control satellites in Russia, China, to disrupt the US military operation, basically on base function to second. Space max also to the 13 times in sectors of purposes, military advantage, critical separately acquired space capabilities, or advantages of class, all friend of space, all have sonic to high ground, the central goal, and FDR. Supplements of the device robust are critical to place space one over spec, he dissuades non-traditional suppliers are limited to GPR, they tell us to losing over as an non-surface source for lifeblood and not be. Thus, the plan is to government restrain this protection of intellectual property rights and copyright by curtailing domestic military rights to contract commercial software and data. Advantage 2, monopolies. The universal manipulation of property causes defense monopoly is CBO 622. But the manipulated data rights locked the government not contributing to the government charging the ZPR or arrested the exclude benefits from wanting the choice competition that opens up cyber vulnerabilities only market competition solves is 120. Monopoly rights are securely to monoculture of products opening the order massive systematic units to protect monoculture global to detect in the case of 5G monoculture considering this quantity networks and deploy the monoculture capacity to protect the head of state causing blocking out the region and defending those services massive runs to the spine because of the multiple venture making the possibilities and necessary standardization of the tech to competitive market instead of the types of unit security specifically creates a single point of failure writing vulnerabilities to the military technology. 123. Overall, scope of their head on the capable creating possibility scope of failure common science brand nuclear war. 121. New assault computing capabilities in the beginning and goes within also the state of the security gaps, quality vulnerabilities, the mitigation damage, including 10% cost escalation of the weapons. Nuclear firing, less possible cyber attack, but a second potentially faster enormous. Vendor lock and lack of competition cost the government billions in wasteful spending. Vegas 23. Government relationship with the software vendors, costly contract difficult to break, but the lack of companies to raise prices without the additional benefits of $1 trillion IC 300 billion on software without manual competition, Microsoft and Oracle, the business contract without competition, even a small labor provide meaningful savings to the kind of competition. Excessive military spending is a massive disproportionate drag on economic growth. WPI 17. So using spending in fully incurred use in military activities collected in the country back in 1949 results in increased spending in the global spending increased to global 9%. Slow growth as global economy derails regulation for tech extinction. Bureau 16. The most honest and economically strong time never delivered an academic activity targeting use the validity of LGBT regard to the party low growth and make hard to lose season from the West and powerhouse had no concept of the invasion of the US and China and Russia in the Cold War down the build emerging technical lines activate global framework with the US and the champion of rules which is the order the government of the US and the engineering Johnson standing bio and then also the most catch trades off of public health initiatives. Reverse 24. This is when NATO countries fully gap between the examining trade-off for the use of military spending and healthcare funding exhibits to infrastructure projects declining. Out of fact, the health table any rates is negative influence and effects of the health, predicting research and military incentive. Health causing very consequent and effective global health. Robust public health system spending contains animal future pandemics. Surviving 23. People's next pandemic created by mostly industry that abuse of food, poultry farming, trying to forward to the invasion of fluorescent, exposed to viruses spill over from the zonic reservoir to the city, and inadequate biosecurity. Treated from must demonstrate the leadership to cause the next hazard primarily. To this day, the robust also requires the adequate facilities to reduce workload and the very key in public health. So supposed to treat the pandemic, social extinction, empiric stimulation, and certain connectivity proof. That's Kim 21. Epidemic threat of human life, the spread of disease, or discovery simulation with the threat of the resident disease. In fact, all of these at least 15 previous studies and so however, the quantitative assessment should be considered various disease characteristics and results of disease with humanization. Finally, solvency. The plan solves conflict abuse for commercial firms like PC 24. Over the past decade, framework governing IP or other reform to balance the defense of industry and other companies in the contract in fear of losing IP fear of losing control business issues conflict leads them already without use of protecting IP. False innovation direct to supply chain impact of the crisis powers IP right versus state government farmers and ensures that the corporation not to favor allowing commercial value. Revitalizes contractor competition which prevents vendor locking. Severe issue 22. To bring health and security, the DoD need data rights to the account for this had expected investor large contract and data for the data rights to find scope of the details to the civic program of the clearly the entire government and using underground tremendous of the observation of the government law requiring to states to standards of the Indian possible and all the measures of the contract to allow cost benefits to be offered. Rights to the benefits included the rights of the frameworks of the cost of the value development software and basic security. The IB. A is innovation, the largest share of military advancement but acquisition to prevent its effectiveness and development. The negotiation 2. Software-driven interference is detect military power, the inventive market not under use in the commercial legacy. Fast capture all programs, the US bring this online acquisition program, the DoD worried about the friendly develop the AUK and attempt to mitigate the demand by data rights. B is new entrance, their market signal which galvanizes every objective of the IBS. Round 24. Market is a large economy conceivably to more production given capacity and most prepared to have use of battleground by everything non-traditional to facilitate expand industrial waste by market demanding suppliers, invest more capacity.
Oh, thank you. Go back to the first advantage.
China is revisionist here, more cars versus Africa's limit sets for further expansion, so strike net cars don't assume an evolving strategy. As Noodle 24, Africa's limit set China has entered a new era not confined by handoff line mail station in Djibouti, Beijing has shifted its FOFO, and fighting military posture initiatives to departure from a version to military measures. The influence of the obvious world of Djibouti's goes beyond anti-piracy regions, will use military objectives global, Prince hard process to justify that a realist argument. Their authors ignore Xi's overly revisionist rhetoric. That's Economy 24. Xi's ambition to make the world an idle. What he's seeing is a boasted confident major question international system, the concept of the global order involves the BRIG, the PIGS, I, and the G, CIO, such as Nebraska, future disregarded, easy to see why China's not failing.
Are you good?
Yep. Neil's gonna send out this card from the weight, but I'm
Just like send them.
Yeah.
The monopolies advantage.
Yep.
How does the plan solve vendor lock?
It solves vendor lock by allowing for more firms to enter the DIB, which would space out the production of products.
It's space. What is that?
Like
Space.
there'd be more firms, there'd be more competition. Is the easier way to put that. I don't know why.
Okay, like that's the confusing part to me.
Yeah.
Because your first card says that vendor lock and competition in markets for contracts for the military are opposite solutions, right? So like the line from your card says, the vendors provide data rights that lock the government in.
Yep.
While it avoids vendor lock, it increases or it destroys competition. So how do you do both, I guess?
Well, the argument is that the app would end vendor lock. I wouldn't really care about the argument. Is that the
your evidence says that ending vendor lock destroys competition.
No, it's the line at the end says excluding those vendors are what allows for competition. I don't really get your question.
No, because like the reason vendor lock happens is because the military is over reliant on the vendors and they can exploit and drive up prices. So I guess if the military no longer has unlimited government purpose rights,
yes,
then why is vendor lock important?
That's not entirely what the app does. The app would result in specialized frameworks that allow for specific contracts based on what the DoD needs, what the contractors don't want to give up, and
What the DoD needs. Okay, so how does that solve Advantage 1?
solve Advantage 1.
Yeah, because people's software, can people's software still be acquired?
software required by the DoD.
Yeah.
No.
No?
Not by the
Okay,
DoD.
so it does
I
get
know that
rid
they
of
can be
the
contracted, but the IP specifically can't be.
No.
misused.
Yeah, can
Yeah.
like the existing government purpose rights, do you eliminate those?
The existing, yes.
Okay, then what does the plan do?
The plan
To
eliminates
replace
future.
that.
It eliminates the standard for future contracting, which incentivizes firms to get contracted.
A standard for future contract.
Solicitation requirements. It eliminates
Okay.
solicitation requirements, probably.
The first advantage,
Yeah.
she has been like preaching invasion for like literally forever. Why is the aft the brink, or why is even like in 50 years
Yeah.
she's gonna invade?
The Robinson evidence says that what you said earlier, she has been preaching it for a long time, but the U.S. has been able to deter them. But in the status quo, the U.S. is not the undisputed hegemon.
Okay, so to be clear, that the internal link to deterrence is that the military's capabilities,
The
or
Jones
like
evidence
weapons,
also
Jones
says
evidence
economic
says that.
challenges put a time frame on when China can invade, as well as demographic challenges.
economic challenges for the U.S. or for China?
No, like China perceives its economy as
Okay,
declining.
no. So how do you see that solve China's economy then?
It doesn't. It just
Yeah.
Increases the
it
U.S.
increases the cost to go to war with the U.S. and Taiwan, which deters and
So
eliminates.
it's just like, why is the cost increased post plan?
Because as the U.S.'s defense capacity increases, China perceives right now that the U.S. if it were to
So
go
to
war
be
without-
clear, is the scenario about like having faulty weapons or having like more?
no, it's about the
weapons?
sustained defense capacity.
What does that mean?
I mean, the Brown evidence says that we've increased ammunitions, other things around the DIB. We modernize our technology. Right now, China perceives the U.S. as insufficient.
The one incident sent during cross-ex is 5 off. Deterrence immunity. Let me know when everyone's good. GS?
Yeah.
Hey, you.
First off, data escrow counterpart. The United States federal government should require the use of technical data escrow accounts in this exercise of the United States military's right to contract and copyright commercial software and data. Data escrow solves the case. Copyrighted source code and technical data will be held by third parties and only surrendered to the government if a contractor goes out of business, fails to provide sustainment, support for its systems, or voluntarily exits the market. That ensures the military's access to vital data for sustainment while it's sufficiently reassuring contractors. Standards 22. Arms use property innovation by efforts cannot overcome without data tech. Army must ensure practice governing IP provide access while encouraging innovation from industry and switch solution. Partnership with international base is critical, is crucial. The purpose courts for industry are made in middle ground is technical data escrow. Optimal solution benefits both dev and crossing parties to mitigate the risk of negotiating or software or IP data escrows held by third party populated by contractor with data only open and useful under specified mutually agreed. The conditions include contracting party bankruptcy or unable to provide sustainment party part replacements, repairs, patches, or deciding no longer wants to be in a market. Escrow is insurance. Army is beneficiary to escrow. Mitigate the risk of continued sustainment of support in escrow accounts. Encourage contractors to continue supporting projects. Data acquisition is often seen as all or nothing. Either the government abides or a contractor holds all data rights. Escrow protects government interests, provides flexibility for contractors. If manufacturer goes out of business, how will we get data to sustain a system? Ensure our systems start from scratch. There are no dot systems inoperable. Concept protects the government aligning with industry practice. Sustainment failure independently turns case and causes nuclear war. Costco 24. Army deploy, fight, win by providing sustainment. The sustained land dominance. Land dominance requires sustainment and viable combat power sustainment. And the sustainment provide fuel and maintenance necessary to op tempo. Main constraints on combat ops is sustainment requirements, vehicles necessity, continuous preventive and maintenance, sustainment practice, heightened vulnerability to nuclear attack method. It's to sustain is of significant value. Russia less inclined to use a nuke if it's outside. Would impair the U.S. ops of Russia willingness to threaten nuclear escalation. Coupled with NATO's reliance on armies and combat teams suggest failure to adapt, elevate a risk of nuclear escalation. Next left is the public-private partnerships DA. DoD believes they must be able to access technical data from contractor software to ensure sustainment. They're hell-bent on maintaining it and will pursue any available methods. Video 24. Policymakers within DoD recognize software driving forces, commercial innovators wish to protect IP. DoD with equal rationality wishes to acquire modular systems to accommodate changing tech, avoid being locked into a company known as modular approach or MOSA. Accomplished without a fuss from industry by DoD is getting all info it needs. DoD's perpetual anxiety over perceived industrial jujitsu inspired consistent IP overreaction by DoD instruction to leverage all legal means to ensure getting data rights. If DoD hope partnering with commercial innovators, it must not overstep. Most sensible would be limiting encouragement on all commercial IP. Yes, but DoD has overstepped. DoD appears so hell bent on amassing data rights. It is ignoring harms. The plan forces DoD to shift using march-in rights under Bay-Doyle to gain contractor patent data. It's the nuclear option, turning the case on a wide scale and deterring all public-private collaboration across all agencies. Christian 24, Martian are a Bay-Doyle solution for agency to regain federally funded IP. Yet, lack of use indicates Bay-Doyle is not living up to the ever of explicit patent jurisdiction. DoD uses constructing the schemes given vibrant array of contracting levers acquiring IP rights. Why should DoD go marching in? 35 U.S.C. applies to patent, but Bay-Doyle could allow agencies to march in on technical data associated with patentable invention. Exercising marching is killing an ant with a sledgehammer for DoD. This is a crushing tax that produces unwieldy effects. DoD preserves trust within DIB by abstaining from the marching. Nuclear option marching would send irreparable shock through the DIB, countering DoD's goal to stay technologically competitive. Marching ripple effect would also hamper all public partnering by multiple government agencies. Robust public-private partnerships are key to complex global catastrophic risk governance. Failure causes extinction from epidemics, synthetic biology, warming, and AI misalignment. Last name that starts with a K. 20. CGRs are not static intervention requires many agents to relearning through coordinated experimentation. Polycentric governance demonstrated responses emerge bottom modes of collaboration are transcending the state and market institutionalized participatory collective problem solving is provided by a network to facilitate public-private collaboration. Example is govern to enable responses to outbreaks to success hinge on willingness of non-state actors to participate in emerging CGRs, CRs, such as the deliberate misuse of biotech, solar power of individuals with civilizational and devastating motives. Complex global catastrophic risks are different from other risks due to governance challenges. Intervening requires a mix of tools to stabilizing the Earth's biosphere, cooling our warming planet, preventing pandemics, aligning AI, complex governance, preventing calamities. Failure. The next off is the uncooperative congressionalism counterplan. The United States Congress ought to condition impunity and inducements for the Department of Defense on restricting the military's right to contract the commercial data, software, and data. It competes as all as Congress compels the plan, but never fiats it, reining in unchecked presidential discretion over nuclear launches. Bryce 22 district the president is director of authority of the military forces of Congress, which is the Department of Structural Command through which the president's authorities exercise Congress may West powers to launch Congress to plan authority by replacing it with alternative mechanisms and criminal penalty for disobeying Congress. They encourage policy else without infringing on the president ultimate authority. Congress's authority carries implication limits on discretion over nuclear weapons depends on relative congressional authority and their dependence from the president. This also informs SOP. Congress's authority put rest to the strong, the unitary executive. It goes nuclear through accident, cyber, and miscal. Perry 20. Extreme dangers look like the anti-airplane plane Russian roulette with even nuclear exchanges killed in its U.S. policy is only a matter of time. The U.S. has been the global leader of misguided civil authority and ILO are dangerous with false alarm, cyber, and unstable president. A new policy lowers danger of nuclear war by miscalculating nukes authority lies with Congress. Next off is the unauthorized use of protection requires safeguarding against unauthorized use. J3 24 the core IP protection refers to legal marks that allow operators to safeguard creations from unauthorized use of or exploitation. This spans other forms of IP, including patents, trademarks, copyrights violation. DoD acquires data rights via authorized use. Section 13 copyright differs from data rights, copyrights are form protection. Loaners develop software under government contract will own the copyright while the contractor owns copyright in the software under government contract. Government which is prohibited from owning copyrights requires data rights or license. To the work vote neg 1 limits their interpolation lives off the topic by including any act to change the way authorized use of IP is governed. 2 is ground. Their interprets by direction. They can pay the license fees from any patent to encourage tech sharing, which makes patents bad. Part of F ground advantage or advantage 1 squares all survey 24. Been 4 years since DA creating the pathway specifically speed up the software acquisition, office one building, country, effective speed option, more adaptive, encourage rapid development, coordination with users, eliminate steps, knowing consents for our software. They love it. DoD looking to drive wider adoption, establishing specialized software experience. We're going to make a SWAT team that requires us to use modern software parts, not an object. 2, no internal link. Which law 23. Construction individuals in America stay ahead while offers a risk. IP companies have a lot to gain. The contract is that includes IP tricks to maximize control. Successful contractors know how to read RFPs and negotiate. If contractor requires develop, government will seek unlimited rights. Contractor negotiate changes. Demonstrate the fellow contractors retain rights to defaults. According to section 2, IP developed with mixed funding contractors list. IP developed their private exhaustive list unlimited rights to the records of IP development justify limitation of government's use of IP. Strong tricks may want just relevant to new tech. These are negotiable deals with America. Understanding the board protects property interests and innovation that keep America preeminent. 3, no solvency. A, DoD and Congress won't budget or for adopt for software solutions in the first place. Vote G 21. The software will define next generation military tech. When it comes to hardware, you use a little chance to use surveillance hits at the beginning require pivot from hardware to software being redesigned require fundamental shift rhetorically. DoD and Congress the importance of software in practice. Translated acquisition budgeting. Duties to purchase responsible successfully on major hardware platforms where time to turn policy priorities into budget. DoD and Congress turn to hardware and spending only software only. After that, it's a software not designed to leave ahead combat advantage. Mark at advantage. B. Military will circumvent the plan by steering contracts to firms that voluntarily give up IP. Arnold 20. DoD procurement obtains greater rights within its entitled one. DoD procures its seats along with products and contracts to the package. DoD is prohibited from requiring contractors to relinquish greater rights than the DoD entitled to obtain notwithstanding prohibition. DoD frequently obtains greater data rights, but have purchase challenging have been rare. There are ways to incentivize greater than required without an express technique by DoD is making option robust TDP. Government's right to provide data to competitors can choose to offer TDP with rare rights offerers who choose not will be eligible if DoD will not be violating CFRs about offer choose not of greater rights receive in evaluation. And no, Taiwan War bonus data 24. Investment in Taiwan trade is foregone conclusion prediction become a common currency of a review of all the forecasts and consistently rate the risk low. Mark at low. Advance 2. 1. The part of disadvantage that's actually about vendor lock is backwards. A. The plan requires DoD to get commercial licenses for all of its software. That's what causes vendor lock to push 22. For software for commercially into government will encourage standard license as an algorithm to finally develop for objective section out of military targeting one license. Terms are to apply commercial license to provide satisfactory answers on DoD programs. C. Standard license insufficient. Market insufficient. B. Right or wrong. DoD believes in it.
Go down.
And no cyber impact long range 22. The actual role of cyber in the Ukraine should become as no surprise malicious statistical analysis. Studies found little of cyber risk causes escalation, hundreds of incidents. I've heard non-restrictors escalation, no go conduct to make sure cyber staff was responsible is minimal. Market minimum.
You good?
Yeah.
Cool. Status?
Conditional.
Are you guys okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the data escrow account plan. Similar to what you asked me, does this apply to existing contracted copyright or just for the future?
It forces the government to clarify how they exercise their governmental purpose rights.
Gotcha.
How is it different from the app?
It does not curtail government purpose rights.
Okay, sure. The Saunders evidence, it talks about this Moyer model. What evidence says that these firms will be incentivized to be contracted by the DIB? It just kind of explains the
Yeah,
model.
so
Why
Saunders
they're
says like
incentivized.
escrow accounts are a predictable way that the military has used data acquisition. So what they can do is they only seize the software from companies if they're like going out of business or exorbitantly charging like super high prices or other unforeseen circumstances, which basically means that the companies can predict it because they know that they're, as long as they continue exercising fair and reasonable prices and they don't go out of business, then they'll be able to keep their copyright rights because it's basically like a lockbox
Gotcha.
where they can't access it.
Wait, so what are the circumstances in which the DoD would be able to seize those?
Yeah, so that would be when they voluntarily exit the market, if they fail to provide sustainment support for systems, or if the contractor goes out of business.
Wait, and then, okay, and the net benefit is predicated off DoD flexibility then?
It's about sustainment in the military, which means like we'll have our weapons themselves will be flawed if we're trying to purchase them from buyers and contractors that are exorbitantly charging high prices based off goods that do not match those, because then the military will not have enough money to purchase like.
So I don't get goods going to lower prices. How do you?
Yeah, because like the point is that when they're failing to provide sustainment support for its systems or like other qualifications, then the military. This is how like we saw vendor lock. The point is that the military can infringe on those and like seize those copyrights because they do not meet the agreement for the escrow account.
Okay, the link to the BPP, the Public Partnership this said, what about the app causes for the DoD to enforce the Gale-Doyle Act? It's about patents.
Yeah, so the uniqueness evidence explains that the DoD believes that they need to infringe on IP in the status quo because without it, they perceive themselves as vulnerable. So they are currently using the provisions under which the AF revokes. So under that, they can seize copyright whenever they want. But
the point is that they shift from trying to go from copyright to patents.
From copyright to patents.
Your evidence says margin rights only apply to patents.
Correct.
Here's how they can use margin rights for copyright.
Well, so the software that's important is copyrighted and patented, but Doyle would make it so you can't even get the copyright anymore.
Wait, but the app only applies to specific data rights that are solely copyrighted.
Correct, and the military moves their strategy from acquiring software from copyright to acquiring them under margin.
But the data you're talking about is patented and copyrighted.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Did you read Miller?
Which one is that? Advantage?
No, Olive.
No problem. No.
Okay. Okay, stop there. 6 o'clock. 6. 6 o'clock. Alright, let me send it. Alright, should be sent. Give me 2 seconds of prep. Which impact defense cards you read on the second bench?
Longer, those sides.
Okay.
Alright, I've got it. I'm good.
Good.
Yeah.
Word. Wait, are you gonna use an order?
Sorry. Bench 1 to authorize the data escrow counterplan, the uncooperative congressionalism counterplan, the PPP DA. Then we will send out more cards for that as well.
Great. We're good.
At the top, continue 3 back 1 use return capacity for solely on strong DIB club because of war, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, the village, which comes new growth jobs. Also considered insurance is absent of strong DIB, Asian allies freak out because of rain, bullets, partly Sabal says goes nuclear essays, Asia and the Middle East. The space war impact was also considered space war essays, goes nuclear Russia, trying to get dropped in that we supply place out attacks and GPS settlements, literally goal systems, maybe impact every D. Inevitable offensive realism was also conceded. State seeks to maximize our power relations, there's so many different works as per my side of this year. China's offensive realization strategies, course of battles, circle one, whole free diplomacy, really secret Germany beating first political skirmishes, and prove they want to dominate the region, global national military build up in Africa as the limits up to prove that hands-up approaches are thinking the massive strategies, radicals against the north by the west, precisely, more to desire for global expansion. That's the economy, the one to see one. The supposed cause is wrong. It's about speeding up the adoption process, but it's not actually about preventing the barriers. Like IP in the status quo, the no internal link, never mind. Either of these things have the PPP just said, or it's untrue. We read specific evidence that says some contractors can in the status quo access to DIB's institutions, even if there are ways to avoid it. There are contractors who can. They need a broad signal in the status quo. The no internal link. We haven't read an internal link about modernization cycles of software. We just read evidence that says that it deters entrants that are coming to the DIB circumvention. It's wrong. The ones that it doesn't circumvent because the ones right now who don't need IP are the ones who don't have an incentive to commercialize outside because they have enough money within the DIB. But if they were to gain IP rights, then they would they would have an incentive to use those IP rights. There would post out and be no companies who would try to get these IP rights. It means the circumvention doesn't work. It's also there's no bright line for how money. There's no cap on how many DoD firms or firms the DoD accepts in the status quo. It means the new entrants that we also saw still new entrants. No Taiwan War because they did offensive realism. Means that Taiwan War is inevitable. Taiwan War is inevitable. They will also concede economic wars like the economic and demographic issues put a time frame on when China can actually invade. The monopolies diminish. Conceded 2 impacts 1, so-called causing aggression, causing global war, internal effects, regulation effects, essential lab, engineering, bio, and nanotech, this burns evidence. The pandemics impact pandemics are essential simulations further mutate in fact everyone that's came evidence, the longer good evidence doesn't assume a low resilience to cyber attacks reliance on single companies or military cyber opens up catastrophic vulnerabilities prompting nuclear retaliation violation of this holder evidence now. Let's do the vendor lock stuff here. It results in alternative system which solves concerns over data, DC, and D. Richard and the government direction for the broken agent can't transfer all copies. Document the minimum copies software, modified software, and implement the use software. Notice from the rights to modify, replace, or reject from this later says, listen from the government, but new programs solve most. It's only compatible with the not current IP strategies 8 and 21. Due to should not make the categories and reference license solution, one should leave it, and the need for data to safeguard. But mostly because of vendor lock needs for data to single license, like the most orphan leaf data, need to have some vendor rights in the working blacklist, limited need for IP rights to solve interoperability, reach 24 coming out in architecture, standard equation, plus the common can be interchangeable, or some vendor lock and fertile, maintenance of the versus special reason need to rewrite code now T unauthorized. We meet one textually positional competitions arbitrarily interpret principle B2 functionally commit yourself person exceptions up to the contracted officer, not contractor, but the government, and disseminate data publicly far and D. Not to obtain work for deserting risk company work under government license stuff, software with license with the rights of HM in the Lord, not the risk of country government send license and dissemination data, and it is unauthorized. That's weeks 23 evidence, I will entitle such agenda business sales losing control over the software, turns out the responsibility for IP unauthorized social harm, unfounded 3 counters restricted protection of IPR includes running the scope of protection manual 18 actions of data resource given by the session software, operation for the Russian court of the regular to make these live from the diversion sensitive protection for a afghanly authorized use over limits of security tons of apps that also realize endless space on a single recipe predictability manual is the gold standard. Unless every court case is bred to actually see function limits, otherwise like case, court law, plus impact trans politics, and core politics check D reasonably computed here. Terms cause a race to the bottom, conditionality is a voting issue, and no cost options cause time and strategy just vote. Kickery perms if theory truth these stocks one we need protection reduce is exploitation group 20 bar prediction for the mechanism of a guard creation of exploitation unlimited rights are form exploitation watch 90 source of the agri from the robot service and the rest of which universe for the operating purpose or we put this covered as a well to not produce just block posts to find the scope of the article not broadly in lacks an intent to exclude the data extra. No spill over one is this analyzed broader uptake perm to both identical effect shields and link. It is functionally the same as the app perm the cannibal perm the cannibal and then the fact late fiat includes the late perm the plan and cannibal over issues other issues sections for below cannibals which can be not text and function race showing objectivity and stuff cheating cannibal as the DoD says no that circumvents the cannibal and soccer 24 7 the above under like reviewed up with the motor risk and the rights of the car Congress is full back in the cards in this against Congress where the guys full contract bridges or the liberal state of the flexible need to do the common courts with side with the DoD off under 16 so because of the objection part of the production rights of sovereignty Johnson Jones and Harris said flash points are about to rock any blow from policy making could be existential. There would be significant delay in setting up the data escrow accounts rather than the app just shifting the IPC acquisition framework in the status quo perception deficit say contractor preservation basis of the DBS based on fear not policy alone that's the seeds evidence reports the capital will be lukewarm at best exit the private sector will continue blocking revitalization and that's the Stuvo sheet evidence you can cross-apply the and Vanderlock answers I read on case it's the same internal it's the same it's just whether the government has sufficient data to modernize their systems it means it's not zero sum with the app but turn to they're definitely shield because it is just if it solves their totally about sustainment then it definitely shields but the uncooperative congressionalism kind of plan. No spill everyone instance this catalyzed broader uptake firms both identical effect shields like perm the cannibal and then the plan fiat includes like perm the plan and the cannibal over other issues text and sort of low cannibal must be enough text and budget roads to remain objectivity stop cheating counterplans you can cross apply the deficits signaling deficit, unclear domestic policy making staffs, international assurance and assurances. They can bring 15 critical tables that are global running compared to spread security America size of can see policy making a restoration American hegemony soon after throwing the power bridges vulture. Institutions make the vertical the regular swing policy is produced by the message based on foreign observers. The plan just makes the president's commander in chief party sacrifices speed and flexibility of executive responsible if he checks rogue presidents better than Congress friends 17 restrict presidents more than their presidents and not the of the Congress. The sun strict power the president should be able to come Congress responding in an attack on the founded by all of these losses. The comments for cultural and restraints workers strikes happen reasons for putting the authorities managed position will have the made of the same stages as other district be able to the same amount of new rules that have this community the because of delays system not broken exact like stalls extinction star 17 more good rules of stuff the laws of the president history the original for place that they were supposed to do human population the fact that the wars but shows they can China this build a rapid responsible to remain Poland really pray for the vaccine bills was the kind of later but leaves the wars of possibility situation for later which was well interact with the Russian and our Ukraine is like near as well so China and the SCSS the PP said there's no link the Martian it can't be applied to technical data or software. It's about patent rights, i.e. Martians that only apply to that's their specific evidence. The app solves a private customized acquisition framework that benefits the DoD and the app. And you can cross apply the most evidence from above. It proves that the DoD is working right now to provide more flexibility between contractors and the DoD. They read evidence about the evidence on case that they said attempts to solve the status quo solves. The link is zero. It assumes that the app is Martian rights, which would spill over. Nothing about solicitation requirements beyond solves. Normal means would be curtailing the duties ability to see software via any means necessary, which would absolve public and private partnerships or profit IP framework that's found no PPP impact all any government of the government will waste from summer the security quality that the backers from the park of the government security with all of the civil defense very similar to control synthetic by constantly one terrorist violent and very limited of the tax and central percent this is a very small tax alignment now do not match resource allocation and increment sentence this is the alignment of every right to take advantage plus 90% alignment resource to invest alignment is that you still have to do what you want sorry PPPs are low now. Wait, shit. Go back to the data escrow counterplan. They can't solve new entrants because limiting IP and solicitation requirements are critical. They only do it over technical data escrow accounts means they can't solve broadly software copyright that wrote the text wrong. Yeah.
Let me know when those are signed.
Yeah. Alright, that's what's up.
Good. Okay, first, I want to talk about the add-on you read on the uncooperative congressionalism. Your cards are from 2017. How does the AF solve for exec flex?
It's not an add-on. It was exact.
Can you, sorry, you tagged it as the plan decimates.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. The deficit on the escrow counterplan.
Yeah.
Why would the DoD say no if we're offering an alternative to them getting nothing?
Contract, you say no, I think is what you're making.
No. I mean, you read evidence on the PPP counterplan that the DoD hates like these alternative frameworks. Either it's zero sum and the AF wins some risk of defense to the link, i.e. like the escrow, the data escrow.
So if the DoD likes the counterplan, so wait, why does the DoD not like escrow?
Like the data escrow counterplan, if it solves our internal links about these smaller companies gaining who care about IP and the status quo, then it wins. Like you read evidence on the PPP counterplan that says like I don't know, the DoD would hate that in some essence. Like it's pretty scalding.
So it applies more to the
Says-
app.
Hmm?
So it applies more to the app.
Plus,
I guess.
So the app revokes all contract or
Well,
all
it's the
ability to
fiat
just
keyword.
seize rights.
It's a fiat keyword.
Oh, so it's about like
Yeah.
the DoD just fiating through everything?
No, it's
We fiat the DoD.
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
Okay. No PPP impact. How do you think this applies? This is about like citizen trust and gun control.
I think it's just the internal links of the card.
evidence
when it's
that-
the card, right?
You've read talks about polycentric governance, i.e. talking to non-state actors in the context of answering emerging threats. We think that inevitably fails. That's
Well-
the poll evidence.
Oh, why would it fail? The card's just listing, like it just lists a ton of
The
risks.
poll
and
evidence
then-
talks about how the consultation process of other actors in itself,
Wait, explain that. What does that mean?
like it's in the context of like democratic governance, really, is what the poll evidence talks about, which is what.
So then why does that fail?
The poll evidence says that first it's slow, second it cites empirics as per answering emerging threats such as the ones in Valencia evidence,
Okay.
AI, etc.
Yeah. Reasons to reject was just condo, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The signaling deficit. How does it apply to the escrow counterplan?
Yeah, I mean, anything that would like you use like a legislator judicial structure over like the DoD doing like a policy action, like I believe the counterplan was
Okay,
conditioned impugning
yeah.
inducements, i.e. like I don't know, prosecuting the own military seems pretty uncertain to me.
Like, so the counterplan, if it does not prosecute the military, then we don't
Would
make
you
it.
condition
Okay,
impunity and
DA
inducements, i.e.
DA, you said the DoD is currently working now to promote flexibility with contractors. Why doesn't it begin to that? Okay,
10, right?
You guys were kidding.
Top right, 757. Signing it. The orders, the escrow counterplan, the deterrence advantage, and the monopolies advantage. It's signed.
He's like to download.
When was it sent?
0 minutes.
Oh, just that.
Cool. GBS, good.
I just gotta download it. One second. Sorry, the Wi-Fi is a little bit. Alright, I'm good.
Hey.
The counterplan solves the case requires the use of technical escrow accounts anytime the military wants to use the right for commercial software or data. That means two key things. One is a neutral third party maintains the escrow account where the contractor copyright and data is held, shielded from the government. That solves the case because it's impossible for the military to disclose any data in the company's competitors while it's being held in escrow. That's Saunders. Two is the data gets delivered to the military if and only if a specific trigger event happens, like the contractor going out of business, failing to refuse or sustain its systems for the military, or voluntarily exiting the market. Strongly air neg. All of their evidence suggests that contractors are unhappy with the status quo, but they have card zero about the counterplan's specific mechanism. Companies would see the counterplan as a massive, overwhelming change from the quo, even if the plan is better for them. The counterplan is certainly good enough to induce entry to the market. They say no spillover. It's not necessary. Military sustainment is key to successful warfighting. The mere perception of breakdown invites nuclear challenges from adversaries like Russia to escalate to full-scale nuclear war. That's Lascano. This is not a process counterplan that requires spillover to other sectors. It's about the apps, software acquisitions, and those being held in data escrow accounts. The plan destroyed sustainment by leaving military defenselessness against contractors that retain all of the technical data on how to repair, upgrade, or integrate the system from other military hardware, and then go out of business and disappear, or simply follow through on their sustainment contracts and exit the market. Those are all the things the data escrow accounts are designed to check against. If any of them happens, then the military gets data rights against to that contractor's profit. They dropped itself extinction and turns the case massively. So no new answers. They say do both. It's incoherent and impossible. The plan curtails the military's data rights, and the counterplan keeps them and their status quo levels and specifies how the military must go about exercising them. They're mutually exclusive from durable because durable fiat means the plan must win out if there's any conflict between two measures that prevents the use of escrow to secure the government rights, which leads to both net benefits. To the counterplan is severance rejected, undermines foundations of all net ground, which destroys competitive equity. One is textually the plan text strengthens IPR by curtailing government's right to contracted data and software. The counterplan excludes strengthening protection and does not curtail government rights. Two is functionally the counterplan does not curtail the military's right to data or provide enforcement mechanism for private copyright, and merely specifies how the government must go about exercising data rights. B is curtail the plan is defined as eliminating INJ. 18 curtails defined to elimination. B is C is that it means completely abolishing government rights from contracting software and data. The counterplan makes the counterplan obviously functionally competitive. Look at 11. Citing definition eliminate and include eliminate. So subject only one interpretation. Complete elimination. Court rejected reliance on the definition of elimination and improve because the defendants weren't capable of absorbing every single molecule of the court and joining the law with the term eliminate is literally false. D and escrow means that the government retains data rights. That's 1 is C. Saunders and sort of for reference. E escrow is a way to ensure the governments continue to receive data rights. Saunders. 22. What about escrow? Amazon, Walmart, escrow third party hold the vendors and data rights as insurance policy. The vendor fails to perform. The buyer can get the data rights and force the same and recontract. F if the plan does not eliminate data rights and the negative presumption for circumvention reason. 22. Policies that are clear and ambiguous and includes excessive or qualifying language sense. Ability to make intent to actually restrict use of the practice policy and not to limit the use of the worker channels vague applies to some use instead of property even if encouraged. They say to the counterplan that the plan is obviously intrinsic and adds the elements relating to present neither in the plan nor the counterplan. It also doesn't solve either net benefit because both are germane to the plan and about restricting government purpose rights. They say perm other issues that again it links to the both net benefit because it restricts government purpose rights. The perm text was also never sent out. You should assume it's fully intrinsic, which is bad because it deletes all negative positions by fiating out just as they say no, it's wrong. Escrow is proven successful in the private sector and is perceived as a win-win. The counterplan locks in harmonious relationships with the defense base and restores our lead over adversaries. 22.
Hope is that the DoD applied strategies and systems, even though data escrow has proven successful in the commercial marketplace. Governance yet to widely impressive innovative concept of acquisition as DoD shape. Sustainment strategies, acquisition practices, the key to save ahead of adversaries to work. We'll find the coveted middle ground that can be tailored to any individual product in the current geopolitical landscape. Military will call for a harmonious relationship with business sector. Data escrow can be a win-win for the industry and the army. They say yes to the counter plan, but no to the plan. And look, the way that they like the way that they still acquire rights if the companies go under, but they don't like restricting rights. Fiat solves. We fiat the USFG, same as the plan that includes Congress and the DoD. So it solves. They say courts side with the DoD. Not sure what kind of plan they think they're answering, but this is not responsive because again we failed the USFG just like the plan, and they'll side more with the against the plan. Like that was above. Perception is zero. Escrow is predictable and more beneficial for the military. And perception is something. This is more above. Signaling is also wrong. The kind of plan might be complicated for Neil and Louis, but it's profoundly simple for the DoD. It provides harmony for commercial marketplace and solidifies predictability to the market. They say there's a counterplan text flaw that's wrong and unexplained. It's about technical data escrow accounts, which is specific to the plan and how they acquire data rights. Determines advantage. Extend 1 and T1, the status quo stalled software acquisition. The DoD has created 6 new acquisition pathways specifically for software and hired a SWAT team of government software experts to guide implementation that serve it solves their internally by speeding up the deployment of new innovative products and encouraging collaboration with companies. The DoD's current approach carefully balances that private IP rights with military necessity, plus the advantage is capped at 28%. Sees 24 with plastic the framework governing IP is undergone careful reform legitimacies. A defense war over the policy 28% of private companies deciding not to include certain checks and bids, business does not to contract with government alternatively shoot versus a better product into the commercial offering. The production of IP is active discussion efforts around those on the Congress were prompted discussion of how IP rights can be protected under most of the coverage property realistic benefits industry has modular approach to the foster competition and provided feedback to the industry. We focus less on a solution aligned with market practices. More companies seek the military with more access to the department and policy capabilities more innovative driven by IP. If new acquisition packages don't solve, it's for budget reasons that the plan can't touch. So 24 pathway doesn't fix away conscious of the fund software department P and mess with the complex hurdles and the way the specific access need to be funded through procurement, R&D, over ops, and you're changing so much money the way access to the program is defined. They say this quote is not about barriers to IP. That's wrong. Our evidence is about IP and the way the military can apply copyright technology. Now they say now the internally to this advantage is also zero. Their defense companies are not morons and they know exactly how to negotiate government contracts in a way that protects their IP. Government data rights are directly related to the amount of funding for the project's development after the government kicks in. The more the private sector foots the bill, the more rights they retain. Tons of structural factors makes declining competition in the defense space inevitable for the reason the plan can't touch. Alan, you got 24 companies in defense and not how much the commercial sectors know how much the sell to the government's volunteers to understand how much the government buys and the government's contracted too expensive to commercial firms that returning mentions government compliance and start invested and factors to deter specialist firm commercial firms are having regulatory burdens and limited financial upside or the profitability makes sense and government bears the risk. But contracts will never abandon the DoD overall because the industry has tons of leverage in contracting. Alan, 24 defense work is really outside profit. It's not delivering predictability for the risk contract. Now plus pension the companies for the DoD communicates rates detailed contracts to the commercial unit to all always pays bills to the defense companies for internal R&D and know the DoD will cover the contracts for requirements are misaligned and guarantees substantial leverage. For the DoD, they just said it's not they solve the public-private partnerships. That's not our argument. It's that the private sector resists it and drives up the cost of money, and people can obviously still renegotiate that on the contract on the vendor side of things. They said Taiwan invasion. No, she knows he'll lose, and its focus is on the economy, U.S. election in Ukraine and Gaza. China's current Navy can't overcome geographic barriers which answers. That's weighing evidence which answers offensive realism because he knows his strategic advantage will be hindered if he invades. No invasion, she can't fund the war. Mendoza 24 senior writers saying over invasion is to prioritize the risk of maintaining stability, property crisis, and protest. Happen to fund even if she knows where the money is coming from. The no prolif impact, too many barriers and no incentive. Miller 22 prolif conversations about how many which countries taking part in are some supported by complexity and nuclear decision making analysts predicting prolif is never worn out. Prolif proceeding the port slowly and powerful orchestra confronting speed and initiating the force of architecture to human forces and never to know states of seeking nukes the states of failure to domestic division of federal required the first time in the new prolif nuclear countries only nuclear malady outside and prolif is likely there's no space for impact. It's thumped. That would be in the 1 hour, but I'm saying constructive speech. So advantage, monopolization advantage. The advantage is backwards. The plan causes vendor lock. 1 is dependency. Curtailing rights makes the military reliant on vectors that causes contractors to control the terms which stress leverage. That's the Yellovsky. 2 is right or wrong. The DoD believes that acquiring unlimited rights will prevent vendor lock which means they can't extort the price or prevent interoperability between systems and another sucker. 24 is critical to the DoD access or vending reasons actually mark the card. It reasons the no economic war impacted. While 20 has nothing to as much impact on the questions of 20 wars that run related to economy, national wars, and avoid the wars and its uncertain market, uncertain pandemics will cause the change of order. At 20 high fatality unclear whether sustained climate after Africa. Okay, Africa. I'm good.
Okay. What's the internal to sustainment?
It's the current state of goods that they're selling to the military. They will be flawed and ridden with problems because they don't require before the military purchases them to have robust military tech before they sell them to the DoD. The counterplan makes them do that.
Wait, what?
As a condition of storing their technology and software in the escrow account, they have to ensure that their weapons and whatever technology and software is sustainable for the military. That's one of like the, parts, conditions of the contract.
Okay, but they need the data to make sure, like, how does it make sure that
Yeah.
they're sustainable for the military?
Well, okay, it can be through a few mechanisms, like whatever, like a contractor checks them, the DoD can test them before they have to sell them or before they can seize the government.
Is that the
purpose rights.
Saunders evidence?
Yeah.
Okay. What is escrow?
Yeah, it's a way that we can store, it's like a kind of contract. So when the private sector puts their software and data rights in basically a lockbox sort of account where the government can't touch them until they've met one of these three conditions.
Okay, and then the card after that, the Christian card, it's about sustainment, i.e. when the government has the data and they don't have the data to repair.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if they have the data for the purposes of the net benefit. The problem is when the military systems are unsustainable.
Okay, unsustainable. So when
Like it breaks deterrence and certainly turns case if all of our weapons are pretty much useless.
okay, do you have evidence that says that's happening right now?
Lasaka.
The what evidence?
Lasaka.
Is that the one I see? One
Yeah.
I see?
Yeah.
What does this card talk about the AF though?
It's about the military's inability to maintain their current weapon systems absent a more
Okay,
sustainable.
you just used
strategy
the word
and strategy.
maintain there. Like the government
Yeah,
has
like, yeah,
the government
okay.
contracts with
It's like a
these-
predictive claim. Like in the future, our military systems are becoming weaker and weaker as we make more credible.
Okay. The first
contracts
part of the
with
process you
military.
explained the counterplan as when these tech go into it, the government needs to check. This card
Yeah,
is
no,
talking
no.
about sustainment, i.e. in the
Yeah,
context.
like sustainment.
the
That is key. That the thing I first explained is key to sustain, right? Because we get
Oh.
better, robust weapons for the military.
Okay. Where have you read a piece of evidence that's
Let's
talking
talk-
about checking before they
Okay, well
actually
that the
get-
Saunders card explains the mechanism, right? It
Well,
talks
Saunders
about
card is, I'll read you.
like the line is like it talks about the three different mechanisms. Like if a contractor goes out of business or fails to provide sustainment support for its systems. The sustainment support is the counterplan's net benefit.
After it's been contracted, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't any more questions.
Something else. Order is going to be uncooperative congressionalism, T unauthorized use, and then the DA. Triple, or it's gonna be advantage one, and then
One. Or, same order, but 755.
Right, you repeat that order.
yeah, I'll give it a second.
Okay,
It's gonna be advantage one, advantage two, uncooperative congressionalism, T unauthorized use.
Uncooperative before T authorized use?
Yes.
So 1, 2, counterplan T,
Yes. Or and then DA.
and DA, okay.
Actually, 755. Do the other stuff
Okay.
for the advantages.
Okay, one more word, sorry. Uncooperative congressionalism, T unauthorized use, and then the DA, and then advantage one and advantage two.
So just case last, let's say.
Yeah.
first. You got that?
Yeah, I did.
The correct thought process.
Y'all here?
No. You don't know.
Yeah, I feel bad, I keep filling in my documents. I'm good though.
Okay, Neil?
Yeah.
Continue the protest competition. T. We get to kind of no 2 and C capitalists with advocates 1, neg flex, top spider directional, absolute kind of provide this well, and there's no like uniqueness tried out for multiple options, test with for multiple angles, especially when I have stand back best office 2 EC, 2 opportunities, the F can always find more similar debatable interpretation, which lays the neg, every debate punishment should fit the crime, make them unconditional, concede reasonability from T. The 3, innovation, fallback strengths, encourage new R's, turning research for and for pressing hard 1 C's, 4 2 EC, efficiency, MS, answers, fosters, the critical thinking, 5, logic, provide improving the capital and bad, does improve the plan good, keep predictable and particle skills, 6, ideological flex, case and capital the same 1 and C, avoid keeping issues on defense 1, diminishing utility, adding more efficacy, speaks in value until their street liabilities skew, inevitable EDA is by highlighting a framer case, just was bad, 1 definition of contested, there's not 2, force parameters, versus counterplays of peace planes, 3, they can't self flex, the 2 ECs dictates the bar, 4, research inevitable, the straight, if the straight turns the best target, 2 EC will always go for it, turning data solves 5, compass first creativity, atoms find needle in a haystack, 1 EC that beats generics, and to research more straight turn 6, so 2 and C counterplays obey their reference, DA outweighs 1 P3's impact, P3's impact effect for public-private partnerships are vital to a polycentric governance model that incorporates knowledge and best practices distributed through private sector into governmental regulations to solve complex global catastrophic risk. Success hinges on the willingness of private parties to participate fully, break down cause extinction from pandemics, climate change, biology, collapse, and missile anti-AI. That's correct in the but it's inherently bigger than the case because these impacts are wicked problems that need maximum coordination to solve, and they affect the entire globe. Their impacts are bilateral geopolitical conflicts between states that can be negotiated down and don't affect the whole world. 2 turns case, DoD shifting to Martian, protectable data is a nuclear option that obliterates cooperation with private defense industrial base. It sends shockwaves to the entire industry and permanently ends their willingness to contract with the DoD, turning every aspect of both advantages. That's Christian. Several 1 and C impacts are functionally conceded 1. No new 1 error answers because they were explicitly named in the 1 and C tag, and our insert names each as an existential risk. 2 C Paola doesn't apply our scenarios about the relationship between the market and the state, not democratic governance broadly. A is pandemics. That's 1 EC Kim is the impact card. B is climate. It's the only one I need to do for try or die because the coast dropped on time 24 is climate change. Next to risk impacts wider ecological risk scenarios harmonized across disciplines, wide range of models all co-method, but trigger for other risks increase. Complex needs to spread common mitigate migration, exasperate animal lists, including health, the insecurity, possibility of economic damage, loss of land, water, and food, and insecurity, destroy crops irrevocably, the undermined ability to recover from catalysis such as new war. They say the MOSA, the cards from case do not apply it. MOSA is priced in. The DoD is accepting MOSA, but they're still, quote, inspired by consistent IP overreaction in the status quo. That's Dave Vicio. Relevant parts inserted for reference. And none of their evidence is descriptive of what the DoD wants. Only our makes a prescriptive claim about what they'll do in the future. The link interviews a plan to shift to DoD employing Martian rights to secure technical data for software. They're absolutely terrified of contractors failing to provide adequate sustainment or support for their software, and so the DoD believes it's imperative that they obtain IP related to those programs so they can quickly share it with third parties if they need a mission critical path. They're hell bent on ensuring unlimited access to protected software data, and they'll do anything to retain it. That's the Vicio. 2 distinctions to take out all their answers. 1, the plan cannot prevent DoD from employing Martian rights to the technical data associated with patents because it only protects copyrights. We're talking about the same software programs protected under multiple forms of IP, each of which provides access to the necessary technical data the DoD believes it needs. That's Christian. 2, they cannot link this by saying the plan retains some limited form of data rights for the DoD. The military wants unlimited rights to technical data because the whole point is that they need to be able to quickly loop in other companies to fix a problem the original contractor backs out or fails. It's only possible with most expansive data rights. They say, I'll read more links later. Yes, there is a link. Yes, it's all for patents. Obviously, the plan protects copyrighted material, and if the DoD invokes margin provisions, that applies to patented inventions. That's our entire point. Fiat can't solve because the plan can't stop infringements of patent rights, and it turns the whole case because the most contractor products are patented, and the technical data associated with those patents is an alternate way for the DoD to secure its interest in data rights. Normal means cannot solve the plain text. This is copyright, which obviously means that it only applies to copyright, not patents. They also haven't read any advocate that suggests so. The plan doesn't solve for PPPs. It's a question of a broad spillover effect. Our 1 and C evidence says that the DoD doing Martian rights spills over to ruin all PPPs. It's a really good card, and it's unique. Robertson 11.7. Of group celebrating Trump's notice more recent than the tech world, Silicon Valley expressed bonanza of industry-friendly deregulation. Anderson summed it up as, fuck yes, new Republican politics emphasize capacity, closer ties between Silicon Valley and the FG. Mark FG. More linked evidence, no defense, right or wrong, the DoD believes that... Advantage 1. No space war in terrestrial conflict turns in Hall 15. Every country with these capabilities needs to use Russia, China, and India have evidence preventing militarization. No attack would hurt them far more. International privacy use of ASATs as space war is highly unlikely. All parties are incentivized against attacking. If did occur, it would be a part of a larger conflict on Earth. No cyber impact simulation superior data proves attacks will stay below the threshold of the conflict. Military and cyber operations are separated by a fire break. Diplomacy checks false narratives of escalation. That's no long run.
Finish.
Or we access with the DM. Attribution, restraint, and capabilities to check. Lewis 20. Non-state actors and states lack capabilities to cause damage, much less catastrophe. There was enough uncertainty about ability to attribute their unwilling to risk retaliation. No one ever died from a cyber. It is lazy to equate them to nukes, to have no interest in a catastrophic attack. It would produce equal retaliation, and for escalation never occurred. Constraints limit risk. Mark at risk. And their defense from advantage 1.
6 minutes.
Really? Okay,
I have some cards as well.
I'll send out my cards, and I guess Neil also wants to send out his cards, but they'll just be two separate documents, but.
Cool.
Okay. It's gonna be good for order? Huh? It's gonna be good for order?
Yeah. I mean, on the doc, but you can go ahead.
Um,
Where you do doc it is.
sorry. It'll be 1, 2, the escrow counterclaim, the congressional conditioning counterclaim, how did you call it?
Uncooperative congressionalism.
Uncooperative congressionalism, and then the.
Check out.
This. And then, sorry, the delay, the card should be sent.
I got the one from No Nick Fiat.
I swear I sent mine 4 years too.
I sent you the.
I don't know if it's my computer, because that I'm connected to the student Wi-Fi.
Wait,
What's up?
do you have the thing? That's not it.
Yeah, I'm good.
No, no,
Sorry, it'll take a second.
put back the news thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. 9 seconds extra taken. Good.
So 257.
Okay, I got your doc.
You got my doc
Let me,
too.
like, compile.
5 seconds of prep. Russell.
Yep.
Is the dissent a net benefit to the counterplan?
Certain.
Okay.
252. Yeah, alright. Good.
What's the order?
Let me forgive the order.
Yeah.
Okay. Advantage 1, the idea advantage, monopoly advantage, the escrow counterplan, the uncooperative congressionalism counterplan, disadvantage.
Alright, we're good.
Okay.
An effective MBA short up uses to prevent sport in every hospital that Jones Health State Schools holds a strong MBA is low for Jones US lights in every major indicator that is not analyzed vis-a-vis China, so thus she rejected no alt cost. Brown says that the app would solve the market because competitive pressure will spill over to more and allow for more contractors in. But acquisition is the main problem and the main barrier. That's all again the Jones evidence. They say contractors will never abandon the deal, even not only they're abandoning, but they're also refusing to join, which is an evidence, which is what the Brown evidence says. Taiwan, the basic extent that here goes nuclear through Chinese and Western strikes independently, sets off a prolific cascade that causes intentional and miscalculated war. That's why shouldn't have all evidence. Just invasion here says that U.S. would overstretch the turret's failure and time pressure forces China's hand, throw out any old defense. That's the wrongest evidence. Saito is wrong. It says it would probably be unsuccessful and that it wouldn't happen. Their economy war is asked because the CCP would invade to sustain the legitimacy. Will concede no prolif and no space impact. On to the deterrence advantage. I'll do the vendor lock stuff on. I'll do the vendor also. It says vendor lock stuff on the counterplan enough economic war impact. First, frame everything through offensive realism. Studies of cooperation prove that the international system is anarchic and zero sum. That's the Yoder evidence. You should frame that to the fact that Walt did not take into account stagnation and emerging tech. Thus, rejected. Same with the diplomacy stuff. Cross-apply that from above. Burroughs is about stagnation. Slow growth increases aggression, causing global war. And Burroughs effective regulation by central AI, geoengineering, biotech, and bio-nanotech. That's all. The Burroughs evidence conceded.
Solves the impact of the dissent.
Which also solves the impacts of the dissent. Pandemics, extended here, but their existential simulation feel that they use it to infect everyone. On to the escrow counterplan. Extend purple counterplan curl means to reduce that to 24, cutting off in some parts of the critical power executive bench or evidence not definitive. That's ING. 19 it says but should not be limited to. When and telling with me functioning, Russell tries his hardest to explain the counterplan as distinct, but it isn't an app software with a specialized framework, which means that you should read this to go. Shipments and penalty does not sever textually because the counterplan is planned minus. Predictability outweighs. You should use it to practice the research that arbitrary limits to move the goalpost. Zone knows the bounds of the topic turns ability, and that can always push the boundaries of CH with the app. That's why you should never vote on topicality. It must be the FR topic, even if it was perfectly fair. If you disagree, then the counter interpret should be at their interpretation plus our app.
All answers to statement, no link app doesn't.
All answers to statement, no link, the app's not property. All IP access, restricted rights, and limited rights allows dissemination of data within the DIB, which solves internal links about a lack of data in government decision making. Facility now extend.
No, go to the dissent and read the impact defense here.
Sorry?
Did you read?
I'm going to this head last.
I know. Okay. Go to the.
No.
Can I move on? Do something
Yeah,
different.
go to
Okay. Goes the congressional state.
The counterplan was condo. Condo's bad versus you, no cost option, work choice, time and strategy, killing the ground sex, responsibility, less than negative, wood, often seeking, education, research, disposal, solving, getting terms and theory seeking, with that would solve flex is bad, choice under coverage, flips the burden of proofs of you, outweighs like blocked in, generic check, all offense, influence, negative, prep, disposal, solves, or returns, condos not excluding, arts or practices, non-resolution theory is good, logic, justify terrible arguments like word-based delay, penniless and consult, standard debate, solve, slippery slope, and no terminal. Diminishing margin of utility is just an assertion, and it's only true after introducing numbers 2 without inevitable straight terms and cross-application solve. Yes, definitional consensus, the choice define, the internal force terms, choice concern, and not benefits and planks. Competition means the next will not proliferate. Process counterplans firming individual planks would solve, and this will solve enough flexibility to infinite one and see all skew and pulling means that the straight terms are untenable, even if it's the best answer. The uniqueness counterplan cower is the least straight turning dissents.
dissent.
Now onto the dissent.
Community running new warming card impact turning that warming is key demanding. Rare earth minerals from greenland spurs 19 temperature rise with the fact that the greenland will make my melt deeper calls line for greenland the outlet. Disposal of potential coming for the year after leading to versus the ocean just domination raging within the US and China said member and covered greenland and running extracting greenland's already through grand global supply chain the disruption and extinction that's good for 20 greenland is the key of the system of the present middle to the powerful in the dark society. However, the maybe just global change to the very most of the increasing potential melt to the potential access to the potential shift with the melt of the by to this will insecurity competition of the COVID and independently warming developed source and ag unlock physical mystery balances global influence. Source post 21 variant co-valuable stuff warning about the Russians will going to the world. It's in powerhouse reduces reliance to the extending the global reach of the grid pass of the open North African Middle Eastern shores or these to Russia volatility expected to Russia the economy defense of the US to mark that card. That's true. Whereas US intends to kind of jobs to Google actually seems that's coffin 20B. The kind of more than should be right when power level the 90% of the extends to the implementation of the rather than nation of the will be I know I have one more in me. And now move on. One more scenario. Emission run ICD thinks that's White House 12 return to the isolation will be this way. No tech of the decades of greenhouse gas warming card going to be safe off the return to the general coordinate and racial levels fail. Mark that card at failed. Independently, no biosphere not taking sure risk first. Nature said rudimentary materials not involved passage of an firm death, logical blushing to difficult stable process cross, and time to risk to share up to 18. Possibilities of national sector, the seed first cheat off the attack result, no one's typical loser. Settle the WR because the development effect seems to be benefited to the alignment. You can see that AI's alignment is guaranteed right now. Researchers were incredibly confident in this. They actually just give up without another day's work. There's 90% chance that AI alignment is all endowment evidence means that the impact is non-unique.
Are those cards sent here?
Yeah, let's start from the send them.
Wait.
620.
750.
I'm trying to name the dog Kabir, but apparently I have a dog called Kabir on my computer.
That's kind of weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Okay, I got here,
Um,
but it's scanning for viruses.
Sorry, you're not sorry.
No, yeah.
we're open.
All right, 750. To be clear, y'all read Wade, or no?
No, we
Okay. And you did not read Zyker,
which one was Laker?
right below.
No.
Okay. The orders the escrow counterplan, the uncooperative congressionalism counterplan, that's what's name. The P3s decide.
Setting up cards.
Yeah.
Cards are sent.
That's sent. Or we haven't gotten it yet, sorry.
Just let me know when you're ready.
Haven't gotten it.
The counterplan solves the issue is how the military can acquire military technology, commercial technology, data rights are placed in a lockbox of technical data escrow accounts and ensuring investors have access to them while the military can still use them for their needs. The job that solves the case, so we only need to win is competitive. Curtail means elimination, which requires that they abolish software and data purpose rights for the government. That's INJ. The re-highlight is 0. It says not limited to, provide a list of things that curtailment could be elimination of, but all the things are still elimination. They have written a definition for us in the 1AR. They said they have to quote cut off in some part. The part that they cut off is the military's unlimited rights as per the plan text. So it is competitive because the counterplan removes that function. They've also dropped this competitive textually and functionally because the counterplan does not strengthen protection of IPR. If anything, it weakens it because it limits how the government can exercise data rights, but still allows for more seizures of data rights in the neck. Conceded predictability outweighs because the guy's prep, which takes out any debatability offense that they might break up. It's the same failure causes extinction, makes military weapons inept, and which nukes our ability to respond to threats. They also the one here says that they disseminate IP, which is our point because the government data rights are coming from a dangerous pool and the counterplan fiat away, so there's no deficit, so it's 100% try or die neg. Even if they win summers in the warming church, those will at least be somewhat mitigated, so you have to vote neg. The uncooperative congressionalism counterplan. Condo bad is untenable because it's illogical, making it unpredictable. Logic and arbitrariness precedes app arguments about research. It's the only predictable role for the neg is to test the desirability of the app. Arguments that arbitrarily limit the way in which the neg can do that encourage a limitless proliferation of app theory. Arguments grounded in no resolution or otherwise predictable basis. They'll move the goalposts from round to round, crowding out substance. It turns app ground 2 because non-rest theory justifies A to Z spec for place. Conditional advocacy and skew 2 is the strategy turning policy into LD like. The 1AR drop that the 1AR concession of reasonability from T that says that theory debates crowd out substance and are arbitrary. The logic is also defense of their impacts. It's the impetus behind competition arguments, gutting cheated counterplans, and allowing the 2AC to reclaim ground in case of 1 and C skew. Hold the line on new arguments. The 2 arguments 6-1 advantage on theory, even if the 2 are debates perfectly. Now they say cheated counterplans, they're absurd. They lose to perms plus over decades. Lit checks smack. They minimize the number of counterplans like these to very few and allowing the app to research impact terms beforehand. The only one they list is word picks, which is obviously not functionally competitive. So don't let the 2 are given any new ones. Those all lose. You don't need theory. Arbitrary non-resolutional theory is bad, so dispo doesn't matter because we're only going for predictability offense, not mid ground. P3 is set. Public-private partnerships outweigh the chart. I drop climate change causes extinction. 2 frames for the turn. 1 is that studies of a wide range of models all conclude that climate change destroys the ecosystems and undermines the ability for humanity to recover from any risk from loss of land, water, and food. All become irrevocable. That's Unheim. They've gone for an impact turn without defense, so you know it's try or die because the status quo, because the app will cause extinction, and only maintaining public-private partnership solves. 2 is that it's new. Strike it off your flow. The 1 is tag and body clearly state that climate change is an existential risk. They could have impact turned then, but chose not to. We intentionally extended this to sad because they did not do so. Reading a 1 in our card does not justify it, otherwise allows teams to just impact turn TAs in the 1AR after any contestation unfairly skewing the app and destroying prep. Their turns are 0. Status theory is wrong. Goss at 21 status is unquestionable whether psychology transferred institutional politics and international guards is intended to organize communities for our states and a community on charge to grab in our SAT presupposes the groups have equal capabilities. States possess vastly different amounts of resources and unclear how many powers invest in states and status capabilities. This also thumbs because the Ukraine and Russia status been decreased on an international stage. Definitely decreased increases their propensity to secure the Siberian breadbasket. Greenlanders killed the mines to do bureaucracy. 21 new government planning to stop with mining, so uranium, the percent of deposit of the mine. They shut down the heavy blow party makes scrapping. The mine central ice age is not coming now, but if it is, it's greatly surpassed by warming. NASA 20, there's no impending ice age of solar energy told by the natural 11-year cycle since the 50s. Temperature has risen markedly. The researchers predict the solar cycle may exhibit minimal activities and not robust current solar minimum occurred would have the same impact with 3 years of carbon dioxide. Thus the minimum would offset the years of warming, and the temperature would continue to warm. This there's no impact to the impact is wild out speculation, even if the author agrees. And Matthews 14 such possibilities are unlikely. Scenarios of successful web succession and movement into sending and the world war is unlikely. There's it's not tried neg because they've also conceded they've also conceded the pandemic's impact, which causes the extinction. As per their case argument, they can solve it. Only we can. The condo, I guess. Send neg round 2. The topic's horrible for the next, which tried out for multiple options. They have conceded that the apps can be absolutely legalized. This quote codified this quote to be topical because the Mandel card, which is unbeatable, makes every app topical. Explodes limits. So try to test the app from multiple angles. They say we can just have German positions or flex. They say flex is bad. Don't flip the burden of proof because we're being unanimous. It's literally impossible to neg now. So we try to test the app from multiple angles because the Jersey they get under personal speech and public finishes and fake plans. They say this one is not solved neg flex though because the Jersey still can dictate the block itself. Know what the one is he said. The skew is also inevitable, which turns out offense because you can just proliferate infinite T or framework case, which or truancy dispo counterplanche, which is dropped by the 1 AR. It's not a straight turn to our offense because it's untenable for the negative, but the being app is already so easy on the IPR topic because all this says they're not unique and limits are exploded.
Anyone?
257, I think.
True.
Did you just read the cards? All of them? Except for the one turn we didn't read.
And I didn't just read the cards. That's what you're asking.
Okay, Russ.
And we did not read all the cards.
If you float, it should be fine.
What?
I said if you float, it should be fine.
Here, I'll tell you the cards we read. Yeah, it's
Thank you.
Gots. It's the Greenlanders killed the mine. It's NASA 20.
We read all the cards necessary.
It's reality.
case counterclaim instead. Oh, cards.
Case.
Cards, yeah.
Or card, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
There are cards.
Yeah. Mind if I send them in the body? I'll probably be sending more too.
Whatever.
Sorry.
As long as you can put them in a card deck at the end, I don't really care.
Okay. Alright, good.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure, we don't.
At the top, I'll be studying the yak solves disease speed, revitalize public health by putting more investment into it that solves the disease impact on the dissent. I'm extending only insofar as Russell dropped that we solve a disease terminal. I'm not extending it as an external impact. Now go to the counterplan. We solved all of the sustainment stuff. The app solved, it was an app solves argument in the one area, and Russell completely blew it off. Means there's no internal net benefit, there were no internal link to solving net benefit, and the net benefit is zero. They've considered the app doesn't aggregate all IP access. That was a 2ECD set evidence. The restricted rights and limited rights allow dissemination of data within the DIB, which solves their internal links about lack of data and government decision making. All of their internal links are about whether the government has enough data to sustain. They've read specific internal links about whether the government has enough data to share with other contractors, i.e. when they want to revitalize their old systems, they have enough data to do so. The restricted rights and limited rights allow for a specialized framework which allows the government to retain those data rights insofar as they only share them for a government purpose, and then they make the contractor delete them after. That solves all of their internal links, and it was completely blown out by Russell. Means it takes out the internal benefit. Now go to the warming turn. Ice Age, can see that there's no impact to Ice Age. Can see there's no impact to Ice Age or the Canada stuff. Takes out any risk of a turn warming cause it. But Russell fucked up. He said a new warrants for why should Russia might be bad, i.e. it causes a new Ice Age, which means I get new defense to it, i.e. Defense to it, all at the top. Warming will be gradual, cushion by double, intermediate mitigation, weight 21, positive risk, etc. We're going to extinct. This is what about since I read a feature in Russian and it's this. Some of those are love us worse standards like this. Got some forecast for decades, it comes out of the catastrophe to the next. What is the other forecast things, some reports of predictions, and how they more job value, that's it, very low in the next 2 decades, make rapid marketing helping growth. Will save person and innovation transference already undergoing investing investments will testify them. Adoption is guaranteed zeroing the impacted Glenbrooks 21 constructs and what is you want to return it, predicting or everything to adopt and like a gene, so it's human response. We'll see what's going to build events and ignore adoption, exaggerated food, 30 times the reality and mitigate adaptation. In order to adoption, mouth extortions is means warming does not cause extinction because Russell only extended reasons why warming had caused extinction, but did not extend a substantiation why his evidence was actually credible. The way the evidence answers the adaptation warrant, and it also proves that all of their offense is just overblown and hyped up. Their models choose the worst case scenarios, i.e. that when they're talking about ecosystem class, it's about the worst case scenarios. Now, like send the Russia impact turn here. Russian status decline outweighs magnitude of the gun fighting lash out of the ground spear influenced by force too late that trust in the US until 90% of the world's news. That's Kaufman. He read new impact defense or renewed cards. It turns the environment causes extinction warming. Warming does that means it takes out the impact held in 16 US and Russian cell on sex terrible nuclear war black on the sun. Bruce Bush's rapid comments original advantage to make it. Then tonight nuclear war caused warming from fire. Jackson 9. Nuclear change increase of damage into the building and the frustrated that destroys that causes more than right. Elevation 41 degrees. 41 degrees. I forgot I have to substantiate the turn. This turn is what is this? Oh, this turn is legitimate. We're not impacting the one line in the 1C card because that wasn't the impact. The winner outlined new impact, i.e. new warrants, like why ecosystem collapse might happen or food might happen, which is internally to the Siberian breadbasket. It's not intuitive based off the 1C scenario. Means new warrants means new interest. The winner outlined a new impact and claimed it wasn't existential. The 1C essentially read the laundry list scenario and then wrote specific impacts for each one. We aren't answering the claim that the warming is essential. Anything else justifies laundry list. As soon as being flushed out the winner without a chance of the one answer respond. Now all answers Siberian bread case basket doesn't fail. Siberia supports agriculture spice harsh climate due to its vast stretches of survival soil, particularly in the southern regions where China's black soil is prevalent. That's Auschwitz. Also indicted permafrost is there. The path water and other features. Climate isn't an issue for the U.S. Climate is an issue for the U.S., not Russia. Now the impact defense, it assumes a status quo Russia. It's a status quo Russia. The tuner evidence. Status theory, it's not specific to Russia. We've read specific evidence that says that Russia will lash out if they have no longer have a credible defense. It proves in Ukraine that they want more the influence in the world. Also, it also says, now back to the Siberian Better fails. It also says that there's room for improvement, which makes it try or die. Now, also based on the case that Russians offensive realist means that they'll definitely pursue conflict if they don't feel that their power is insufficient. You can see the Yoder evidence which says that the international system is anarchic and okay. The international system is inherently, we don't know what's going on, and Russia always wants more power. If they see their power declining, i.e. not having proper resources to do so. Now, warming causes of Russian agriculture, security Russian status. One, you landed open Siberia, huge truck around temple with permafrost, but ideal of melted true most of the case. Coming against competitors like the US and Australia harder because at lower latitude, letting Russia outcompete in key markets, even if Siberia fails. That independently outweighs that was conceded. They dropped the food is key to overall influence. It makes importers dependent on resources in US under present reliance on oil and gas. Now that's actually 3 import defense, warming curve. A scissor effect that forces dependence on Russian food when the excess enough to satisfy rebound. Look, we get new defense to warming. That's the only terminal. They drop actual defense to the counter plan. And then the term, even if mitigated, it's not paid. It's a pay. Calm down.
Yeah, thank you.
You weren't kidding.